I believe in the potential of our young people, and I think every human being, by our inner nature, has the potential and the ability for artistic and aesthetic expression.
As a conductor, performer, and teacher, Marvin has touched the lives of countless individuals in the state of Wisconsin, the U.S., and on 5 different continents. His contributions to the world of music will never be forgotten. Marvin's musical career began when he started taking violin lessons from a teacher in his hometown of South Bend, Indiana. He used his musical talents to earn a scholarship to the University of Kentucky, where he first began teaching music in exchange for his tuition. At the time, Marvin was studying to become a high school history teacher. But his life took an unexpected turn upon graduation. In 1942, Marvin entered the Air Force. He was already a trained pilot and was assigned to be a flight instructor. After an honorable discharge, Marvin briefly considered a career as a commercial pilot. Luckily, he changed his mind. Marvin chose to pursue a master's degree at the prestigious Eastman School of Music in Rochester, New York. There he met his wife, Rhoda, and earned his master's in viola performance. Marvin had already accomplished much in his life, yet his musical career was only just beginning. In 1950, Marvin joined the faculty at the University of Kentucky, where he founded the Kentucky Youth Symphony, one of the first youth symphonies in the United States. Marvin and his youth symphony went on to give a resoundingly successful performance at Carnegie Hall, which attracted the attention of the then struggling Greater Boston Youth Symphony Orchestra. He was offered a position there and decided to take on the challenge of resurrecting the organization. Naturally, Marvin succeeded. He began teaching and conducting in Boston and helped turn the orchestra into one of the finest youth symphonies in the country. In 1962, Marvin and the Boston Youth Symphony were invited to perform on the White House lawn for the Kennedys, an honor neither Marvin nor his students will ever forget. Marvin had helped the symphony reach a level of excellence that was recognized throughout the entire country. Eventually, people from the Badger State took notice. A UW professor of music extension named Dr. Emmett Serig helped convince Marvin to return to the Midwest to take a position at UW-Madison. Once he got here, Marvin wasted no time. He began working with his colleagues to create a string development program for both students and teachers in Wisconsin. In 1966, Marvin became the first conductor of the Wisconsin Youth Symphony Orchestra, a position he would hold for 6 years, nurturing and growing a program that is now recognized internationally for its quality and organization structure. WISO was not the only thing that Marvin helped shape while in Wisconsin. Anyone who has ever been part of UW-Madison's graduate program in string development can thank Marvin for initiating it. Additionally, Marvin helped to create the National String Workshop, an event that still brings string instructors from around the U.S. and the world to Wisconsin to study the many facets of string education. During his time in Madison, Marvin also finished his doctoral degree, which he received from the University of Illinois. He eventually earned the title of Professor Emeritus at UW-Madison and remains active in the musical community to this day. In Wisconsin, Marvin helped introduce string music to students in every corner of our state as part of the Wisconsin idea, a belief that the boundaries of the university extended to the boundaries of our state. He spent a great deal of time educating students in many cities, big and small. Marvin undertook such a large task because he held close to his heart a belief that the beauty of making music was an experience everyone should have the opportunity to enjoy. Marvin's efforts laid the foundation that now makes musical education accessible to students all over Wisconsin. The common element that shines brightest in all of Marvin's great accomplishments is his ability to teach others. He is renowned for helping educators become better educators and students become better performers. Marvin has always had a magical way of connecting with everyone, no matter what size group he was working with. Marvin's shining personality and musical ability helped unlock his students' and other instructors' potential. As an educator and a conductor, he inspired everyone around him to be the best they could possibly be. His undying passion and enthusiasm for sharing the joy of making music brought visibility and prestige to strings and helped create musical opportunities for generations to come. He has truly enriched Wisconsin, and we are forever thankful to have known such a wonderful man. Congratulations to Marvin Rabin, the recipient of the 2011 Wisconsin Foundation for School Music Lifetime Achievement Award.
Marvin Rabin was the first conductor I ever saw in front of an orchestra. It was the Wisconsin Youth Symphony, and it was that experience that directly inspired me to start conducting for myself, a process which took about 10 minutes. Barbara Goy, who was the director of the Preschool for the Arts, took a group of us to watch a WISO rehearsal. In those days, you could sit in a little observation balcony in room 1341 in the Humanities Building. I got the seat directly behind Marvin's head. They were rehearsing Shostakovich 5, which is still about my favorite piece of music. I was completely blown away and totally captivated by what Marvin was doing. So captivated, in fact, that I stood up and started conducting. Now, Marvin was, of course, facing the orchestra, so that meant he was the only one in the room that couldn't see what I was up to. But gradually it dawned on him that someone was trying to steal his orchestra, and no one was following him anymore. And that was how we met. And I was all of 3 years old, but you can see my technique was already pretty good at that point. In fact, the reverberations of that went down through the years. It turned out that was an audition, and I didn't even realize it. Barbara Goy's daughter, Betsy Goy, was playing principal cello in the orchestra at that time. Years later, she asked her mom whatever became of that crazy little boy who stood up and conducted WISO. And Barbara told her that, well, he'd become a professional conductor and he was living in Oregon. And Betsy's orchestra in Oregon was looking for a conductor at that time. And so I actually got the gig based on that one experience at age 3. Many years later, Marvin also played a pivotal role in my musical development. I entered a concerto competition at Memorial High School and didn't win, but Marvin thought he saw something in me and realized that I was playing on a very inadequate cello and said the right things to put everything in motion for me to get my first really good instrument. And that was a life-changing moment. Once you realize you can make a good sound on a string instrument, you're much more inclined to practice really hard. So, Marvin, congratulations. I was so glad that you could actually come and see me conduct for real about 39 and a half years later when I was with the UW Symphony last year. This is such a well-deserved recognition for everything you've done for thousands of musicians who've come through the various programs you've worked with over the years. Thank you for everything, and wishing you all the very best from Cardiff.
Hi, Marvin. I thought it would be appropriate to film this from an all-university string rehearsal, since most of us wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. I remember seeing you for the first time at a Memorial Union concert in, I think, 1967. Kathy Lippett pointed you out as Papa Rabin. I pretty much knew then that I wanted to somehow be a part of your sphere of influence. My WISO year was 1968 to 69. I learned you could get away with certain things in the wind section, like betting on the permutations and combinations of what seemed to us to be your 3 Hawaiian shirts, 2 pairs of pants, and 3 or 4 pairs of socks. I learned that, however cramped the stage of Music Hall, you must not be victimized by the equipment, meaning that flute players couldn't sit like pretzels. I learned that you loved music and young people more than anything, even if you could also scare the dickens out of us. That would be my mother's word, not mine. As an undergrad, I wouldn't start violin fundies until a semester when you were teaching. For the next 10 years and 2 degrees, I couldn't get enough of your classes or the National String Workshop. Professionally and personally, your influence meant everything to me. The chance to do a string development degree even overcame my aversion to going back into humanities again. But come back I did, eventually for the long term. To follow you and David Nelson in any sense was a daunting task. I only hope that at UW, I and others have been able to nurture and carry on some of that legacy. Perhaps the setting of which I am most proud is the one that I'm in right now, surrounded by enthusiastic students who are playing in large part because of programs and teachers you inspired. Thank you, Dr. Rabin. Thank you, Marvin.
Marvin Rabin, my friend, colleague, teacher, mentor, you have inspired so many lives, thousands of lives, people who have a better life in music because of you. Thank you for all you've done, and a lifetime achievement, it's unparalleled as far as I know. You've done more for more people and given selflessly to music, to young conductors like myself, and to advanced conductors. You give advice, you give yourself to everyone freely as a teacher and as a friend. Congratulations on your lifetime achievement in music.
Marvin had a rare quality: total love of music, total love of us. Critical he was, but not judgmental. I'll never forget as we sat on the stage at Carnegie Hall in New York City, and he looked up into the gorgeous ceiling and looked out at us with the most radiant smile and just told us to look up and feel the beauty of the place and feel the beauty in our music. He was very special.